Welcome again. Dee Tozer back again with the Couples HQ Daily podcast. Now, one of the things I wanted to go over today is the concept of being likeable and lovable. The reason I'm doing it is because many times I hear and have heard over the years, with the thousands of couples I've worked with, that while they might love their partner, their husband, their wife, they often don't like them. And so they then will at times question even the love. And then we get into all the debate about in love. I love you deeply, but I'm not in love with you. All that goes round and round and round in circles. And it usually starts from the fact that the likable component, being able to like your husband or your wife and your partner, is difficult as we evolve in a relationship and we get to the parts where our independent selves come in more than the initial libido phase, romantic phase. So as that fades off, the idea of in many different worlds of the modalities, we have the idea of differentiation in a relationship. There are several key notable therapists out there that have drawn that differentiation component into couples work, and I won't name them here, but if you look it up, you'll see who they are. They do a very good job. Ellen Bader, I can actually say, is one of the educators and therapists who's done a more probably detailed job of pulling that together in a modality that differentiates for the couples to see when they've moved out of their romantic phase into that. Most people feel it, but don't actually notice enough to observe it, other than the bickering and the fighting and the independent me, you comes in instead of us. So the initial romantic us disappears, fades off, and then that part comes in, it's you and me, and then we bring us all back to us, like Terry Reel's book is called Us, and how to bring you back to us. Well, the first thing that I look at with that is being likable, because in the early stages of getting to know someone in the romantic phase, we pretty well always put on our likable hat. We make sure we put on our best face if we really like that person and feel connected and we really want that relationship to thrive and grow. We be likable. Now, we might still have sometimes when we're not as much, but usually we will modify it to be at least some degree likable in putting opinions, different ideas forward. So likable is so important, and yet it just disappears, and it disappears under the main theme that I talk about a lot, which is disapproval. Under that heading, criticism, contempt, irritation, annoyance. So when you have got the idea of likable sitting in the core of you, it will impact what you say, how you say it, because you will be focusing on how it's being delivered and how it's being received. And all the concepts that are around being likable held together nicely because it's put to them in a nice way, a kind way. It's respectful. It's honouring. It's showing affection. All the different things that in the beginning make you say, I like that person. He or she is likeable. Then over time, that like bit fades off. So now I'm just going to move on to lovable, because you can't be lovable to someone else is not going to find you lovable if you're not nice all the time. You don't have to be nice all the time, but if you're not enough nice, enough likeable, there has to be enough likeable coming through in the beginning for someone to find you lovable. That's right. So we fall in love on many different parameters. We all know that. The physical attraction, emotional attraction, all sorts of things, stages of life, common interests, etc. Many times people don't know why they fell in love. They just did, and then they felt like they just fell out of love, when really what happened was unlikable came through, which made that person unlovable. Very hard to sustain loving feelings for someone if they're showing you a very unlikable side of them or an unlikable persona consistently. So that's why I talk about unlikable and unlovable, because if you're in a messy spot at the moment and there's a lot of tension between you, have a look at it. Have a look how you are presenting. If you're presenting as unlikable to your husband, wife, partner, how are they then going to feel the love? And that they feel, I guess, secure enough with you to be lovable. Likeable, lovable. Then we go, what is unlikable doing to create unlovable? I know it seems a very simple concept, the two words, but it's a bit like disapproval, isn't it? It's at the crux of it. It's the crux of why we go from us, romantic, very lovely early days, to you and me, individuation or differentiation, back to us once we adapt and align and learn how to interact in a likable way, which creates the environment for lovability. So I'm going to end that here on this daily podcast, and the next one will be tomorrow. Bye for now.